I had quite an odd dream when I was about 8 or 9. In it, I was laying on my back in shallow surf when out of nowhere, a sudden tide dragged me out to sea. There was nothing I could do. It was like the thin layer of foam was glue and I was stuck, being sucked into the aquatic nether. As I flailed helplessly against the ocean's pull, a small spiky fish swam into my open mouth and lodged itself in my throat. As it thrashed about to and fro, I could feel so many of its barbs going clean through my flesh. I'm sure by that point it was less of a neck and more of a fleshy, trembling pincushion, spewing blood like some sort of fiendish car exhaust pipe. It was by far the happiest dream I've ever had. Since that dream, I've been fascinated by deaths at sea. I remember spending my recess at high school, not with my friends, because I didn't have any, but with my self-made scrapbook-cum-omnibus on the sinking of the SS Andrea Doria, which, if you ask me, is one of the most anticlimactic nautical disasters of all time. 46 people died, lost to the whims of the sea, but if only it were more. Nearly 1,700 people on that ship tragically survived, denying the world of a splendorous maritime snuffest on the scale of the RMS Titanic in 1912, which still stands as the finest and most illustrious loss of life in human history. When swimming at the beach or watching old boats meander around the harbour, I often fantasize about drowning myself. Would I wash ashore to be pecked at by seagulls longing for food other than stolen fish and chips? Perhaps I would be swept so far into the ocean that I'd never be found, my body slowly decomposing into pulp and bone, everything that I ever was or ever could have been broken down and destroyed by the ocean's crushing weight? I find these thoughts comforting and exciting all at once. There can be no greater pleasure than to lose oneself to the merciless elements and become one with nature. Tomorrow morning, when the surf is at its most volatile, I'll throw myself from the coastal cliffs into the waves crashing below. The force will no doubt render me unconscious, and I will therefore be unable to save myself should I have second thoughts during my fall. My lungs will fill with water, my body will be tossed around by the resplendent waves, and I shall cease to be a man and become nothing more than a tragic statistic. I shall sink deep to the ocean floor, to be devoured by anglerfish and moray eels like a mesopelagic hors d'oeuvre. Perhaps my decaying internal organs can become a shelter for the humble plankton from their persecution by cartels of foraging fish, my rib cage a place of refuge and safety. Cuttlefish shall gorge themselves on my soft, plump eyeballs while ferocious barracudas fight amongst themselves for the rest of me. Eventually what remains of my body will become one with the rocks and coral, part of the magisterial architecture of our underwater world. Oh, to be subsumed by the noble and sublime power of the ocean. What more could a man want?